What's going on, everybody? This is AJ Capasso here from Talking with the Source. I'm here with my other host, Jonathan Keyworth of JK47 Paranormal Investigations. What is up, my brother?
What's going on, man? I'm excited for today, man. You know, being in the military and
Yep.
what we were talking about in the bag, dude. I'm excited to explore the source. So
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. And I want to tell the viewers that today is going to be a little weird because we're going to mix a little bit of some paranormal. We're going to mix some of Richard's passions, which are some military background history and stuff. And we're going to do a lot of different things today. I want to promote his tea as well, Darby Tea. So we'll talk to him about that in just a second when we bring him on. But real quick, just want to show a quick clip of Parapost Network where we are live right now from Parapost Network Central and Parapost Network International. So real quick, 30 seconds. Here's a Parapost Network thing. So that was Parapost Network. Thank you so much for watching, everyone on Parapost Network. If you have a team, or if you have a podcast or a vodcast and you want to join Parapost Network to share it on Facebook, on our network, please just hit us up in the email, our message button, whatever, and we will get your show on there for free. It's awesome group of people, an awesome family, and we're going to be revamping some things. So stay tuned on Parapost Network Central. But right now, I want to bring forth an amazing guest, one of our great friends we've had on a couple times now, from the TV show Most Haunted, from UK's TV show Most Haunted, Richard Felix.
Hey, Richard.
How you doing? I'm fine. I'm well, apart from the snow that we've got. Other than that, everything's great here.
Great. Hey, John, you want to change it for us? The format?
Yeah, you bet.
Thanks, brother. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Hey.
There we go. So
you're the star, man.
Brother. So, how have you been since last time? And talk a little bit about the tea, my friend.
Yeah, I've had COVID again for the second time. Other than that, nothing at all. I keep waking up in the morning, which is all important when you get to my age. So yeah, Derbyshire tea is going extremely well. People are loving it. More and more people are taking it. We're doing it. A lot of it's online. A lot of it's online at the moment, but the plan is to get it into shops all round Derbyshire. It's good. It's a good one. Not really much to do with my paranormal adventures, though. But you see, this all came from, I suppose, the fact that I was chairman of Derby Tourism, many, many years ago, and I've spent the last 35 years trying to promote the city of Derby and its county. I don't know how much I've achieved in those times, but I mean that's why I started doing ghost walks, because I I opened a heritage centre in the centre of Derby that went back to 1554. It was an old grammar school, Tudor grammar school. Reverend John Cotton, one of the Pilgrim Fathers, founder of Boston, Massachusetts, went to school in that building. Would you believe?
Wow.
Yeah. And some very famous people. The first astronomer royal, the guy that came up with Greenwich Mean Time, went to school in that building. And various other Puritans that actually left to colonize the States and Virginia, all went to school in this building that I took as a heritage centre to tell the story of Derby. And there was a ghost upstairs because it had dormitories upstairs. Because in those days, I mean, obviously, boys from all around Derbyshire coming to this school, they couldn't get back. They couldn't go home in the evening because they'd come on a pony, or and so they'd stay. Like, it was a boarding school in the 1500s, and so they had dormitories upstairs, and there was a ghost of a little boy that had been seen upstairs. And that gave me an idea. So I thought, well, one way of bringing people into the city of Derby is ghost walks. This was 30.
Yeah, definitely. You got the history for it.
1 years ago in January. And I thought, well, York is famous. Thousands of visitors come to York every year to do ghost walks.
Yeah.
The history. So I thought, well, we'll start one. I'll start one. And it ended up me having Derby, little old Derby, declared the most haunted city in Great Britain.
Oh, wow.
York second, which upset York a lot, as you can well imagine. And that was all those years ago, and people come for the ghost. That's really how because before that, I had no interest in the paranormal, other than the fact that I was frightened of ghosts, and had been since the age of 4, and still am.
Yeah.
Ghosts.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is
Something
ridiculous.
that can touch you or talk to you, and you can't see it. That's
We're
weird.
frightened of what we don't understand. You see, that's the trouble.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care how long you've been a paranormal investigator either. Like, yes, you're not afraid when you're investigating, but if you're home alone, okay, and something happens in your home, that'll scare the daylights out of you.
Of course it does.
You know what I mean? So all these tough guys out there, no, let me tell you, man, ghosts are scary.
Yeah, well, of course they are. It's like something appears at the foot of your bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, guys. Yeah, and it's not Mrs. and it's not one of the kids. And hang on a minute, of course we're scared.
I've had it happen. It scared the crap out of me.
I've actually got to the stage now where I'm actually preaching to the world that ghosts aren't scary. Well, they are scary to us because we don't understand them. But they're not They're not put there to scare you.
No,
they're there for a reason, but it isn't to scare you. The profession of a ghost, if it
that reason I believe is to get your attention. Because I think they're trapped. They didn't choose the right path, and they're looking for help. And this is the best way to get attention. Yeah.
Or they're a loved one that's come back.
Yeah.
Grandma.
I was about to say that, or a loved one coming back to make you realize something in your life is not good.
Yep.
That you need to change.
They come back so they can travel. Because in my opinion, they're not up there. Or down.
They're around here,
They're here. They're around on another dimension, another spiritual plane, another frequency, another time zone. So they are with us, which is, I think, rather nice.
You know what's very weird, Rich, is that I had a near-death experience, like I told you in the past, and when I was going through the tube, like what I would call a tube, it was like hyperspace, and it looked like I was in space going hyper, just super fast. Yeah. There were stars all around me, but I was getting flash images coming up like boom, 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 and it was from the beginning of creation to the end of my life. But even though it was coming up so fast and I could barely get a glimpse at them, I was understanding them all simultaneously, individually at once. And it was so incredibly amazing. And like when I first was out of my body, I was able to be over the paramedic's shoulder, in his head, listening to his thoughts, behind him, watching over the shoulder, all at the same time and understanding everything. But I tried to explain to people it's like if you have a CD that has 12 tracks, you know how in the physical we can only listen to one track at a time and really understand the lyrics. Well, a ghost or an entity energy can literally physically listen to 1 through 12 at simultaneously at the same time and understand every lyric on every track and every instrument at the same time. It's the most incredible feeling in the world, but it's also terrifying too, you know?
Yeah. And so many people have those sort of experiences.
Yeah.
So many people.
Yeah.
And yet the world won't have it.
I know.
They're too focused on the physical aspects of things that they don't realize there's more to life than just what you can touch or feel, you know?
Yeah. There are other zones, frequencies, dimensions, that we don't know about until you have an NDE, you know.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about?
You're a very lucky man to have come back, or not. I don't know.
Well, let me tell you, it was 12 times that I actually died. I died 12 times. It was not the same time. It was 12 different times that I died. I was addicted to opiates, and I had overdosed 12 times. And the last time that I did was when I had the NDE that I remember.
Yes.
And so I could have been having NDEs all 11 other times, but I just don't remember anything of those times. But all I remember is whatever being I saw was very frustrated with me and was like, you're not supposed to be here. And then I got sucked back down, like I was kicked back down into the tube. So, but that was when the
spirit died.
But my question to you is, Richard, is as science is finding out, especially about like dimethyltryptamine, like DMT, how it's released during birth and during death. Do you know anything about DMT at all? Have you ever read about it?
No,
okay,
not a word.
Okay. So it's a chemical in our brain that is only released during birth, they believe, and during death. But it's also in plants. It's in all different animals. But it's only secreted in humans when we die. And it gives us, now people are smoking it, obviously, for a psychedelic trip.
Wow.
And you can get it in crystallized form and all that stuff and whatever. And they do like, the venom of the toad now and all this stuff where they smoke the venom. And it makes you, it's different forms of dimethyltryptamine. And it gives you such a psychedelic experience where now scientists are mapping out this dimethyltryptamine realm because there's these beings that every person that takes this medicine meets that tells them specific information about themselves and their lives that nobody else would know, like secrets. They tell them everything. And then if you spend too much time in there, they actually tell you need to get back because you're going to lose grip in reality. And they try to teach you lessons. And everybody who has these experiences has these same things. So my question to you is, was my near-death experience, because I was gone for a minute, maybe a minute, 11 seconds, maybe a minute, 15 seconds. Was that me having a hallucination, do you think, physically? Or do you think that was me physically seeing, because I saw my body,
Yeah. You see, again, that science's way of dealing with it is hallucinations. The drugs that you were on at the time caused your hallucinations.
That's what,
I don't believe that. I've spoken to too many people over the last 30 years that have an account to tell me, like you've just told me about, and I get that from Joe Public all the time. And so to me, that's, you see, just a quick one, right? I find it so strange that I say we won't have it, we don't believe it, and yet so if a guy goes into Walmart and he's in there and he watches a guy stealing a jumper, a pullover, and he stuffs it in his bag and starts to walk out, and so the guy that's seen him shouts to the security guy, and the guy comes over, "Excuse me, sir, do you have a receipt?" And so anyway, he hasn't got a receipt, so he's arrested. And then the next thing, he's in court, and the guy that saw him, of course, the witness is the prosecution witness, and he goes into the witness box stand and puts his hand on a book that was written 600 years after the event took place, and says, "I swear by my imaginary God to tell the truth, the whole truth, and not the truth." Right? Off he comes, and everything he says is true. Yeah, because he put a hand on this book, and he says, "I saw that man steal that jumper," and they believe him, and the guy goes to jail. Right? But you tell me that you saw a ghost at 4:20 yesterday morning, or that you had an NDE, and people go, "Yeah, probably you were either mistaken, high on something, hallucinative drugs with them. You were overtired, you were drunk, You were mistaken.
Everything but.
Yeah, everything but the truth. Everything but the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put your hand on the book, would there
exactly. If you go to court or you get married, you have to put your hand on the Bible and swear to something that nobody can prove is there, but everybody believes it. But when you tell them you see a spirit in your house, they won't believe it.
No such thing.
Yeah,
no
you're just sick. You're just sick. Yeah. Yep.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
No, it's unbelievable. You're absolutely right. But it's
I find that so strange that science, especially, just does not. I don't know. But I suppose part of the problem with science is that there's so much Hollywood, so much. You see, it's the same with aliens. There's no such thing as that. Of course, there's such things as that. Are we really so self-centered and bigoted as to believe we are the only planet in the universe and beyond that has life on it?
Look at octopuses. We think octopuses are aliens because of what they can do. So I mean, we don't even know our own oceans. Those are aliens,
Yeah, Captain Cook was an alien, wasn't he? When he floated somehow with these big to wherever he went, Hawaii, to I don't know, Australia, and he was a god, wasn't he, to them?
Yeah.
Yeah, until they shot him or killed him.
Well, yeah.
Like they did with Jesus.
yeah.
Unbelievable, isn't it? There are
ghosts. Well, that just proves that people fear the unknown. They don't know how people are doing these things, and they're afraid of it because they can't explain what they're doing.
So we discount it.
And also too, I think also too, our governments don't want us to realize how powerful we truly are. Yeah. Because our minds are so powerful. I mean, I watched the Buddhist monk who was devout in his yoga and meditation literally levitate in a sitting position, and that scares me, because that makes me realize that we are so powerful that we don't even understand how powerful we are, because we come from a source. And if there is a God, say, right, that's just this, imagine a God that we all say in the clouds, right? Mm-hmm. Say that there is this God. We know there definitely is a creator of something, but just say there's a God, right? Well, we are the extension of that source, of that energy of God. Yes. He made us, so we're the extension of him. So that means that energy is in us of create worlds. So our power is unlimited.
Yeah. So it's back to the same old word again, you see, energy.
Yeah.
Energy. But you see, if I organised an energy walk around the city of Derby, nobody would come on it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They've got to stay as ghosts, I'm afraid.
Hey, you know what? I laugh about a lot of the ghost shows that are on TV now, and the reason they are, and the reason why is because all of them are promoting demonic type stuff now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In the realm,
it's a demon. It's a demon.
Back to the same old scare factor.
Yep, Hollywood
all the time. I mean, you say, I obviously, I'm not knocking Most Haunted because it's done me the world of good. Right?
No, of course.
Absolutely the world of good. But the problem with it was the same as all ghost shows. It's all got to be scary. It's all got to be about the scare factor, because they believe, probably correctly, that if there isn't a ghost every 5 minutes and it's a demon that's going to get us later, then Joe Public will switch off.
Yeah.
And perhaps they're right. They're entertainment shows, but they're all the same. This is what gets me. They're all the same. And the thing that really frustrates me beyond words is they're supposed to be ghost hunters, paranormal investigators, right? The moment something happens, they all scream and run off.
Right.
Every one of them, all of them. They're all as bad as each other, and there's a big scream and a yell and oh Jesus Christ, oh my God, and they run, and Joe Public at home jumps as well. So they've created the right effect in the same way as you go to a theme park. You don't go on the one that goes round and round and round. You go on that one that that heart in your mouth fear factor, and that's
Chris says y'all need a show that does real investigations, and I agree, but the problem is there's no thrill effect, and that's what Hollywood's about.
But there is room, and that's what I'm working on now. With there is room for a real. I think, to be honest with you, it needs to be more documentary type. and investigating
No, absolutely.
as well. But and guys, it still might be scary.
Yeah,
because things happen to even if you are a dedicated professional paranormal investigator that isn't frightened of ghosts. If something happens, like you said at the beginning of our discussion, just something appears in the bedroom or something, no matter what, of course you're going to be frightened because we still don't understand it. If we understood it, we wouldn't be talking about it now.
Yeah.
B, there wouldn't be any more programs, and there'd be no more interest in the paranormal because all of a sudden it wouldn't be paranormal anymore.
You're right.
Para is the Latin for running alongside the normal, and so we'd then be on to something else like aliens. And so, but it's true, isn't it? So it's there's time for a show that explains what ghosts are.
Yes,
and that's what I can do. That's don't get like I
would like to make that one. I would like to make
the voice of reality. I'm the guy that's actually trying to prove what ghosts are.
Yes.
The word ghost.
What this energy is, like how this energy that you can't see can interact with our physical forms, you know.
Yeah. You see, like you said a few minutes ago about the Buddhist monk that can levitate. Now that means there's only one way he can do it, and that's through his energy.
Yes,
it's his energy that does it.
That's the way he described it.
Yes. So when we talk poltergeists, of course, they're all scary, of course. Yeah. Same old story. They're all demonic things that are throwing things at. But no, they're not. I mean, I very, very seldom have heard of anything that's being thrown actually hitting somebody.
No, exactly true. And we also know that through science that it can also be caused by a female who is going through puberty.
You've got it. You know,
so you're right.
Energy.
You know, so it's our energy.
We are mentally capable of moving things.
Yes.
As was your Buddhist monk. Yes. Mentally capable of moving himself. Yeah. Yep. And so, when something flies across the table, the first thing you look at is not a ghost, a poltergeist, but the energy of what's wrong with that person. Are they mentally disturbed? Are they reaching puberty? Are they disturbed? Is there something going on in their brain that actually the energy that comes from them causes something to fly across the room? Exactly. And that's frequency. But we call it a ghost.
Yes.
Yeah, like I was helping a lady in Canada. I could only do it through video cam, because I can't afford to travel there or do that. And she sent me this video, and she put her phone on a cabinet, and it was recording. She walked out of the room. There's nobody in the room, and the shoe went flying across the room. Like how does that happen? And as she was walking in, the clock on the thing just started moving towards her. It was amazing.
Yeah. I don't believe all of that. Yeah, see, I don't believe all of poltergeist activity is always somebody doing it.
No, I don't.
I don't either. I do believe that what we call ghosts, some of them do move things, obviously, like what we're talking about. But yeah, there is cases where our energy is be able to do it. So if our energy is able to do it in the physical, imagine what we can do in the
they can do it. Yeah, and they are trying to get our attention in some way because because the honest God, they haven't got a voice box anymore.
Yeah,
they can't. You see, again, I don't know. I don't know whether ghosts. I could keep them calling them. Whether ghosts can talk to communicate from their receiver, from their transmitter to our receiver, which gives you the impression that you're hearing a voice. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
But like one particular ghost program that we were in, and they start whistling and asking the ghost to whistle back. Well, they haven't got lips. How can they whistle?
Well, here's the question though: with the energy that they are producing, how are they? Some of them producing a audible sound where everyone is hearing it? Because a lot of the times in paranormal, you'll get a recorder or even a person that will hear something in their ear, like a whisper or whatever, but everyone else won't hear anything. You know, and the same thing with recorders. One recorder sitting right next to the other will pick up an EVP, but the other one won't. So it must be that these entities or energies are sending blocks of thought of energy into the receivers so that they can change and manipulate that audio in some type of way for us to listen.
Yeah, either a voice or an image, you know, and then of course there's thought transference, which
I
again
think
we're all capable of doing.
I think it has to do with frequency.
Yeah, frequencies. We can do it. We do it. In time of death, crisis apparitions where a soldier or sends an image. He's actually still alive, but he's thinking about mum, and he's dying because as you know, most soldiers dying on battlefields call for their mum.
Yeah.
Well, when I was in Iraq and I was fighting, I had many instances where I was like, oh my God, I'm about to die. And I don't know if my frequency outputting tapped into the input, but this voice was always saying, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay.
Yeah. There you are. You see, there's, as you've just been saying, there's so much more going on in and around and we're not going into, we're not investigating it enough. We're too busy sending people to space. We should be realizing that every one of us here is actually the center of our own little universe.
Exactly. What is your view, actually? And now, not to change the subject real quick, but just to briefly, real quick, just a yes or no, or not yes or no, but what is your brief understanding of? Do you think that we're going into, do you think we've gone past Earth orbit and actually have went to the moon because of the radiation belt that we've had? That we've said that all of a sudden we have destroyed all the technology from the 60s, and now we have to build it all back to go to the moon again, which makes no sense to me that nobody wrote down schematics or anything.
Doesn't to me.
It doesn't to me either.
No, I'm not sure. I don't know.
And now they're sending a capsule, with bodies in there to see the radiation amount. Like, what do you mean? You sent 7 pilots or 7 crews there, and you're just finding this out now? Like, that's what I don't understand. So it's a very weird conspiracy to think about,
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
And again, as you said earlier, again, governments are just trying to keep us. They're trying to keep us in the dark.
Yes.
All the time.
There is
including the paranormal side of it.
Yeah.
And aliens and everything else. And I don't know why. I haven't a clue why.
I think it's for our involvement. I think they don't want us to evolve because I believe that they can control us better if we are
primitive.
Yeah, if we're primitive. You know what I mean? If we rely on them, if we're told that we're free, but we're really not free, you know what I mean?
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Especially in the States, we have all these tax codes that people have no idea about. And all the rich are using them, and all the poor people are like, well, why am I getting taxed out? It's because, you have a job, a W-2, and you're getting your income taxed right out of that, where these people have businesses, and then they're taking out debt, and their debt is not charged under tax in the United States. So they're using all these tax codes to stay debt-free and tax-free, and all this stuff, making millions of dollars. And it's like people don't understand this, we need to look deeper into things because there's things that are hidden from us for a reason that we don't understand. But I think it's because we can do so much that we don't understand.
Yeah, so right. We are so powerful, but we're kept down.
Yes.
And I don't understand it. I really don't. Now we're talking about being taken over with AI, aren't we? And let's not even go there.
Oh my gosh. Now, I wanted to ask you, did you see the CIA report that was released a few months back? It was called The Gateway Process.
No.
It's on the CIA website. Okay, check this out. Okay? This is what they did in the 50s and all this stuff. I believe it was in the 50s and the 70s and stuff like that. They did these experiments to find out about psychic power phenomenon, paranormal stuff, mediums, all that type of stuff. And they found out all this amazing information, finding out that it's energy, finding out that, all this stuff, frequency and all this stuff. But you got to look on the CIA website and look up the Gateway Process. I'm telling you, you'll be fascinated.
The Gateway Project.
Oh, Gateway
Project. It's going down now. Gateway process.
Gateway Project.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll love it. You'll love it.
Wow.
Yeah, you could download the PDF right off the site. Some of it is retracted, but most of it isn't, and you can understand it, and it's amazing.
CIA?
Yep, CIA.
Yeah, I downloaded it. They also released all of Tesla's work. I got 200 pages of Tesla's work. So Yeah.
Oh boy.
But it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder why they retract some of it. You know what I mean? Why is some of it blacked out? You know, what is that underneath that blackout? You know, I'm dying to know. You know?
Yeah. Is it so dangerous? Why shouldn't we know?
Exactly. You know. I mean,
it's like a Mad Lib. You got to fill in the blank with a noun or a pronoun.
Now we had on Dr. Kieran O'Keefe from Most Haunted with you.
Yep.
And he told us that one of the reasons that that was hard for him on the show was when something would happen, they wouldn't really show that part of the film. Sometimes they would show some part that really made, no sense to show. And because it was a fear factor situation, like an entertainment situation. Whereas when they would actually have something crazy that would happen, like, like an instance we had with the table, that you told us about in one of the table times, they didn't show that. And it's like, why don't they show those things? Is it all just because of that entertainment? And,
it's purely down to the word entertainment. And it's also purely down to the fact that all of them on the show didn't understand what ghosts were. They haven't got a clue. And I don't know who's going to listen to this, but they still haven't got a clue. Because
don't worry, I won't post on the official Most Haunted site anymore.
Yeah, I don't know whether you ever saw the show or not, but I mean, there's two things I say to people. Number one, well done. My God, they created a monster. We got more viewers than The Simpsons.
Yeah.
In our heyday, and we set the scene for all of the shows that are on now and have been. There's no doubt about that. We did. They're all still playing at Most Haunted. Yeah. They really are. There's no doubt about it. So what we did was incredible. And that single show created more argument, more debate, more research than any ghost program ever has. And we're probably talking now because of Most Haunted. Because Most Haunted was on. But then I say to folks, but guys, all of you that watched it for so long, and perhaps even still watching now and in some form, did you actually learn any more about what a ghost was from watching Most Haunted?
No, you just saw more evidence of it.
Can you tell me now about the third man syndrome or the stone tape theory, or what a poltergeist really is, or a crisis apparition is, or spontaneous human combustion, or screaming skull from watching the show? No, you can't, because it didn't investigate. And it didn't investigate. And that was so. And I wasn't part. I mean, and there's no doubt that everything that happened couldn't have been real.
Yeah,
of course not.
Right.
Yeah, I mean. Of course not. Obviously, you saw what was edited down from a 24-hour period.
Yeah.
And anything that was should have been worth seeing, should have been on. But it was, because to a certain extent, although I don't know this for fact or not, it must be scripted.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I do all my stuff live. So what I see is what my viewers are seeing, and I don't want to leave them out of that experience, and I wish more shows would go live on these investigations.
And if something happened, no matter what you'd got planned next, you would follow through what's happening now. Because so you're doing whatever. You're in a haunted barracks, for instance, and you started off in the armory because something had been seen in the armory, and you know full well that you're going to go off then to the officers' mess because if something happens in the armory, even though you knew you were going off to the officers' mess next, you wouldn't. You'd stay in the armory because something's happening.
Exactly.
And you'd start ticking the normal boxes first to try and disprove what's going on, and then when you've got a box without a tick, I'm afraid you're going to stay in the armory because that's where it's happening.
Now, I want to play.
That didn't happen. That never happened.
I got to play devil's advocate real quick, right? So going back to how we said we're energy and we are affecting our things, right? John, pull up a video real quick of you with the bathroom clip with the beep beep, when the bathroom clip. So this John does all his clips live, and I'll edit his live sessions. Now, what I'm thinking is happening sometimes, and I could be wrong. This could all be just what we call energy of spirit.
Yep.
But I think that sometimes our energy is actually manifesting into these devices, causing us to get answers through these technology and frequency, through frequency and vibration. And I
Yes.
think that we're sometimes causing the answers to come through. Sometimes I believe that there's outside sources like these energy of spirits and stuff like that that are manipulating those devices and talking with us. Because John right here is going to show you a clip. He does cold cases, right, Richard? Where
Yeah.
people, they're not solved, and he talks to the dead people of the cold case, and he tries to get the answers of the cold case, and he goes by the case and he like tries to get the answers. So check out this response.
Yeah,
They tell us where the person died.
Can you tell me what room in the apartment you died in? What room did you die in?
Bathroom.
Now wait, it replays. Wait.
Oh.
Now that's clear as day. That's clear as day. I had to slow that down though, so slow because it was coming out at 150 milliseconds that you couldn't hear that sentence. You couldn't hear that. I mean, word. I mean, it was so quickly coming out. So I slowed that down to almost half of its speed to me to get that to sound clear enough for me to hear what it was saying.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. But the thing that shocks me about that clip and all of his clips recently is that he's been getting the beep beep. Did you hear that beep beep that came through right before the bathroom came through?
Yep.
Well, every time he asks a question, spirit will come through right after the beep beep happens now. And on my spirit box, I never get a beep beep. He's never gotten a beep beep before. It just started happening months ago. And now it's getting stronger and stronger the more that I've taught him to meditate. I've taught him to use binaural beat frequencies to, raise your chakras and vibration. And it's amazing to hear this beep beep, Richard, and then an answer to come out that's relevant to the question. It's showing that there's something connecting, whether it's him connecting, I don't know, but it's something going on because where's that beep beep coming from?
Where indeed. That's because you see, again, I've never been a huge believer in EVPs because so many that I hear from people, and they say, you're pardon, what did it say? Oh, it said get out. Oh, well, for number one, why is this get out business all the time? Why do we say, do you want us to leave? Well, what a stupid thing to do on a TV program. Because if the ghost says yes, come on, guys, pack up the kit, we're going.
Yeah, we're not leaving. Yeah, why would you ask that? You're not gonna leave.
Exactly. But the other one is that so much, in my opinion, of the EVPs that people show me, I think, well, that could say anything to me, but that was as clear as day.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, and he's getting sentences. Richard, he's getting sentences through the PSB7. Pure sentences. I can't
really.
It's wild. And some of them aren't as clear. Some of them you have to kind of try to clear up a little bit, but some of them are just like that bathroom where they're so clear, it's unbelievable. And it's just couldn't believe it,
I love that.
Yeah, but it's all through. It's weird because it's all started to really strengthen for him ever since I taught him about meditation and binaural beats, which are 2 frequencies in each ear that you use on YouTube. They're called binaural beats, and they put your brain into gamma, beta, and all those different brain states, whatever you choose. And they have it for all different types of stuff, from anemia to all this different stuff that I use it for. So I decided to use it for the third eye and for meditation, and I taught him this. And ever since he's been using it, he does it every day, and his stuff is getting stronger and stronger. It's just wild. So it makes me wonder, is it us? Is it our thoughts going into that device? Are we energy doing that? Or is the outside box, is there someone outside of us that's now entering this energy field and connecting with us truly?
Or are they using our frequency to give out the answer? Is the energy using my brain to transmit that through the speaker?
See, that's what again with stuff that I tend to use much more. I mean, to me, the only ghost detector is you.
Yes.
And your dog. And I think that's actually all the others are aids. I believe to everything under the sun, from K2s to whatever you want to call them. There is an aid. It's not proof. But you are. But the problem is, you, the ghost detector, can't prove that to anybody else, which is a difficult one to say. But I'm not sure. So there we are, with a glass, fingers on a glass, right? And the glass is moving, and it's talking to you, and it's telling you that it's whoever it might be. I'm still to this day not sure if that is actually your dead granddad up there that's going through that person's brain, that person's brain, that person's brain, or energy down their arm, through their fingers, into the glass and causing it to move.
Yeah.
Or is it the nervous energy from those 5 people around the table that are moving it? And that's, to me, that's paranormal, because they're not pushing it, but they are mentally moving it.
When I was 15, I had an experience where we were at a house, me and my friend, and he had it was a girl named Jessica, her house. And she had about 15 friends over, and they started doing a Ouija board session. Yeah. And I walked in, me and my friends, and I was like, this is all rubbish. I don't believe in any of this. Me and my friend Eric only on this board right now. Let's see if it moves. They were already talking to something that said it was basically a kid who was disabled and that got killed by somebody. So I come up to the board and I go, okay, who killed you? And I go, Eric, the minute the thing starts moving, just pick your fingers up just a little bit off of it so that it's hovering, just a little.
So it's
just
not
so
you
that,
pushing it.
So it's not us pushing it. We did that, Richard. I swear to God to you, the thing spelled out who killed it. It spelled out mom. And then right afterwards, the weirdest sensation that I ever noticed about it was mine and Eric's hands were ice cold, like they stuck in a freezer. But every other part of our body was completely normal, warm. But our hands were ice cold to the touch, not like feeling, but to the touch, like something sucked the energy out of the hands. It was the most weirdest sensation I've ever felt, and I've never felt it to this day.
Tremendous one, yeah.
So you see
that to me is the spirit energy that came through your receiver, down your arm, into your hand. Energy, yeah. That's the big one. I'm not 100% sure always. And of course, the other problem you've got, so many, with all the TV stuff, of course, and a lot of paranormal investigators that charge people to come on events, you're never sure whether they're moving the glass or the table or the Ouija board. That's the problem.
So what do you think about this? Based on what AJ said, I believe our nervous system, giving off electricity and everything, and there's nerves throughout your whole thing, and the nerves in your hand. What if the spirit is manipulating that nerve, so now you have no feeling, so that's why it feels ice cold?
Yes, I absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I think that's very valid, very valid. And a little bit more proves to me that it is an entity, a spirit, talking through people. I've never seen a glass table or Ouija board move with one person on it. It's to me, it's always got like 2 or 3 or 5.
I've seen it once actually, and it was my niece's mother. Believe it or not, my niece's mother. She's no longer here. Like, she's here, but she's not here. Here is what I mean. And she believed that she had demons like in her or whatever that were causing her to go and do drugs and certain things at a young age and act out on certain things, be promiscuous. And I wouldn't doubt it, but she said it very plainly, like, yeah, I have a demon that'll move the planchette on my own. And I didn't believe her, so I set it up and I wanted to see. Yes. And, it did move, but was she pushing it? I can't tell. You know what I mean? Because it's one person. You can't tell.
Yeah,
when I put my hands on it, it still felt like somebody was pushing it. So I can't really say, was it really her? Was it a spirit? I don't know, because I didn't have that experience with the hands draining of energy,
No, but that's a good, to hear something like that. Is the fact that your hands were cold, like both of you.
Yes.
And you said to the touch.
Yes.
So in other words, someone else felt your hand and it had gone really cold.
Yeah. And I noticed it at first because I touched my face afterwards, because I was scratching my head because I was like, why did that move if we didn't move it? And then when I touched my face, I'm like, oh my God, my hand's ice cold. We're inside. It's so hot in here. It's summer. What is going on? And I was like, someone feel this. And they felt both of our hands and they were like, oh my gosh, like, you're ice cold. Yeah. And it was only over the board. And it was so weird. We were on a regular turned off air hockey table with no air coming out. So it wasn't like the air was cold. There was nothing coming out. It wasn't even plugged in. And, it got to the point at that house where she would do it every weekend. And it got to the point where this thing, whatever it was, this energy that came through, appeared on the window. It looked like there was a shadow in the window, and then all of a sudden the window just shattered. It was a full size window shattered in their house, and the dad got so pissed off he thought it was one of the kids outside, like breaking the window. So he kicked everyone out of the house, took the board away, and they were never allowed to play with it again. But since then, she's had her room light be turned on when she was not home, and everyone would come home, the light would be on in the house, and like all of a sudden stuff would turn on and off. So yeah, their house is a little freaky.
I say. That's quite
something. And I had somebody follow me home from that too, which was real weird. And my cat picked it up. At first, I picked it up because I felt the cold. I was in the shower. I felt something cold come in, and I got really cold, and I had the shower all the way up, and I saw the steam, and I'm like, why am I not hot? This is weird. And I got out, and I heard someone yelling my name, but nobody was home. I thought somebody had came home. And all of a sudden, I opened the door. Nobody was there. So I shut the door. My cat had come upstairs. I wasn't worried about it. Another night I had come home after that because I put it past me. I thought it was nothing. Another night I come home. All of a sudden I thought I saw my cat run up the stairs. So I put my hand down. Well, I didn't feel her. And I'm like, that's weird. I see her on the bed in my room by the moonlight. She's walking in a circle. Well, I noticed that the tail on the shadow of the cat was not like a normal tail. It kind of looked like a wick from a flame. And I realized something was wrong with the shadow. So as I walk in my room, now it's pitch dark in my room. I got to walk around my bed to get to my light, which is on top of my bedstand thing. And I had to walk around my bed to do it. So I had this entity with the door closed walking around my bed, and I could see it. I think it's a cat. Okay. I turn the light on. My cat's not in the room. So I put it down that I'm just whatever. It's stupid. It was just me. I go and I literally start eating my strawberries with my back to the door. All of a sudden I hear knocking at the door, like scratching. Like knocking from my cat. So I go to open the door. There's nothing there. I'm like, what the hell? I shut the door. It happens 2 more times. On the 3rd time, I'm like, I'm not going to open the door. I'm just going to crack it. If nothing runs through, then I don't know what's going on. This is freaky. Well, all of a sudden I got pissed off. I opened the door because nothing came through. And my cat is all down on all fours with her face literally like foaming from the mouth, eyes wide open. She darts past me, jumps on the bed. I turn around and I see this thing that looks like a cloud. It looked like a black cloud. It was very faint. It wasn't very like cloudy, you know what I mean? But it looked like an actual cloud if you took it down from the sky, a black cloud. And it went around my bed that she chased it. And then it went down on the floor and went into the wall. And she stood at the wall, foaming at the mouth, hissing. And this cat was tormented by my chihuahua. She would never even hit the chihuahua. She would just curl up. And that's how this cat was. She never got angry. Like you could throw her, you could do anything. This pull her tail, and she was the most loving cat. And so when this happened, and I saw this mass of black air, whatever it was, I couldn't believe it because moments before that happened, I felt like something had licked their finger. It felt like somebody licked their finger and went down the back of my neck with their finger, and that freaked me out and made me jump and made me wonder like what was going on now, And then when the cat did that, and I saw that, and then it just progressed from there. Our house just got more and more. And then after my NDE, I started to pick up way even more. And then we had the full apparition that happened once in front of me and then once in front of my entire family, fully solid. And Richard, the way that it took up the room, the electricity in the air was so stagnant, so crazy that you could feel every hair from under your clothes sticking up. That's how much energy this being was taking to form itself. She was solid like me and you. She was scary when she showed herself in my room, but when she showed herself to my family in the kitchen or in the dining room, she was she was dressed beautifully. Most beautiful black hair put up in a nice bunch. It was an old white dress for some reason. But when she showed herself to me first, it wasn't like that. She looked like my ex-girlfriend who was sleeping next to me at the time in like a white shirt that was long, that was completely soaked. And I didn't understand. And I was scared, freaked out at 3 a.m. But after my family saw it, I'm like, there's something to this. I have to start investigating what is going on. And then my near-death experience, with all that too, I was like, you know what, I'm not crazy anymore. There's something to this.
Wow. Any idea who she was?
I have no idea. I got an EVP. I asked, can you please talk to me? And she said no. And that was the last thing I ever got. It was wild.
Never again. Not seen her again.
I never got a single. I used spirit boxes in the house. I never got an email. Yeah.
Wow. That's a good one. That is.
It makes no sense. And I had a medium tell me, the medium that I work with, who is really good, and I put her to the test when I first met her. It's the only reason why I trust this lady. And she doesn't charge anyone to do her readings because she believes that it's not right. And that's why I trust her even more.
Yes.
And she told me that the reason why she showed herself firstly in your room, and it was scary looking, and she wasn't. I noticed the being wasn't focused on me; it was focused on my ex-girlfriend for some reason. I noticed that before I grabbed my camera and she evaporated in front of me.
Yeah.
I realized that, and she said to me, it was because you and your girlfriend, you guys weren't supposed to be together. There was some reason for that person not to be in your life. And I realized, oh my gosh, when we were together, we were using drugs together. We were bringing each other down. We had broken our sobrieties together, So I realized that this entity was trying to tell me I need to break this off and get my life together before I before I lose everything.
Yes.
And I couldn't, you know what I mean? It was wild. I was like, oh my God, like this is crazy. Like I couldn't believe any of this. I was a total skeptic, Rich. I'm telling you.
So this could have been a family member, couldn't it?
No, this was not a family member. My whole family was there. And my whole
Sorry, I mean a past family member.
Oh no.
Like an ancestor or something.
Yeah, great grandparent.
No one in the family from grandparent up didn't know who she was.
Really? And of course, obviously they recognized it, wouldn't they?
Well, they would have, yeah.
Yeah, of course they would. Oh, that's great aunt. That's great Aunt Edith, or yeah.
We didn't have Sunday dinner that day. Let's just put it that way.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone left after that incident.
Things must have been bad. Not have Sunday dinner.
Wow. But the weird part and the synchronicity of it all is going back to the Ouija board at that girl's house when I was 15.
Yes.
It's another girl who was using the Ouija board, had the same experience with the knocking on the door after a shower and someone calling her name and no one being home in the whole house. 3 times it happened the same way me. So I'm wondering if whatever came through, that energy was not a negative. It was a negative energy, I think. And I think that it followed both of us home, split itself into 2 and followed both of us home because I physically saw that black energy. It was like a black cloud. It was it was crazy. Physically saw it. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe my eyes.
Was it person shaped or was it
No, it was just cloud shaped. Cloud shaped. It was like a ball of energy shaped cloudy looking.
I see.
You could see through it, but you still knew it was there.
Yes. Yeah.
And see that brings me to when I was like 10 years old and that show Unsolved Mysteries started. I remember watching it once with my dad, and there was this family that had this black mist that would show up, and they ended up having to move into their garage because all this crazy stuff was happening. And that's back in the 70s and 80s when they're using Polaroids and cassette tapes and stuff. So there's not really that editing factor, but that terrified me as a kid. That terrified me, that one episode. Yeah. I still remember it.
I mean, we had a case in Connecticut back in the 70s, I believe it was, and Ed and Lorraine Warren, they investigated it. It was a huge case, went all over the news, and this home was so haunted that the cops witnessed the refrigerator move, like slide across the floor. Okay, like literally stuff flipping all over the place, like wild, crazy poltergeist. And what the news people they had to end up doing is saying that the Ed and Lorraine Warren was a fraud and that the kid made the whole thing up, and the cops weren't allowed to be interviewed or anything like that. They had to come out with a statement because there was people that were coming to the house gathering on this street, hundreds and hundreds of people. And I'm like, I get it, but it's like, when people see these dark mists now I understand because I seen that cloudy figure and I'm like, that's what we would describe as a mist, because that's what I would say. It was a mist looking cloud. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it was literally a cloud shaped energy. And I didn't know energy then. I didn't know anything about it. But now,
of course not. Yeah.
Getting into quantum mechanics though, you learn all this stuff.
That's a bit similar to what you see. The only ghost I've seen was, I think I must have mentioned it to you, was a grey hazy shape of a person, but it was a grey mist. But it was a dense grey mist, and I couldn't see through it. I couldn't see the wall. Yeah. Through it.
Wow.
It wasn't male. It wasn't female. It wasn't clothed, but it was sort of person shaped. Yeah. But it was a distinctly so grey, but a mist, a fog, a mist, whatever. Yeah. But mine wasn't clouded. Mine was person shaped as such. But I saw it. But I also sensed it. It had a presence with it.
So Chris says, I saw a giant black mist, very dark, on the 4th floor at the Holy Cross Abbey down in Canyon City. I've been there and I've investigated it with him, and it felt like it was pointing at me and it faded away. And that place is crazy because the experience I had there, we were up in the monk's rec room, and there was 4 of us in there, and I was sitting against this wall, and the girl was videotaping, and they had their spirit box going, and I asked, is Father Philip here? And clear as day, it said, yes, I am Father Philip. And then a second later, I felt my hair get pulled under my hat. Like, I felt my hair get pulled, and I dropped all my equipment, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. Like, I thought it was a spider or something, and there was nothing. There was nothing in there. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing what this energy, what these spirits can do. It
is. Yeah. Energies, and that's the thing. I try and tell everybody, and everybody I talk to all the time, when I say I'd like to change the name to energy, and everybody goes, yeah, I agree. It's an energy.
I'm 100% with you.
And that's the word.
I'm going to save some money up, Richard. I'm coming out there. We and John, we're going to come out there because I want to film a documentary with you. Go to places that you know that are haunted, actually haunted out there. And we do a documentary to try and explain some of these energies and stuff like that. I really want to do it. I really do.
Love to. But the idea is to do it in a way where we actually, as you've just said, explain.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, you know this. I don't need to tell you this. Joe Public out there would love to see that sort of program where we go into places, but we take the whole thing to pieces, and I'm not saying anything will happen when we're in there. It might, but that's not the end of the story.
I think it's all intention, your intention when you go into an investigation. If they know you're not there to bug them or whatnot, you're there to help.
Will you do this? Will you whistle? Will you throw something? Will you do this?
Yeah.
Do you want us to go? Oh, for God's sake, they must get sick and tired to death of it. But when we're, I mean, as you know, it's when we least expect it. And it happened last night to me in Derby Channel. Yeah.
Wow.
Just a quickie before I go. 2 years ago on Halloween, this is on YouTube. Anybody who wants to see it, just put Derby Jail whiskey glass. Right, okay. The spirits from behind the bar came, and I invited. I'd done 4 events on Halloween, and I invited everybody who wanted to come back at 11 o'clock on Halloween to come back to Derby Jail. Well, the bar will be open, and I'm going to do ghost stories for Halloween for an hour till midnight. And came back, a load of people came, some students from Derby Uni came, and they were all sat there. The fire was blazing. I was telling stories, and I was sat at one of the wooden tables in Derby Jail, and there was a couple sat opposite me. And I got my glass of whiskey on the table, and I picked it up and had a drink, and I put it down, and I'm chatting away doing this story. No, another guy takes over to do a story, right? And I'm listening to him, and all of a sudden, my glass starts to move across the table and threw itself on the York flagstone floor, smashed.
Wow.
And I'm going, everybody's going, oh my God, I said, oh Jesus. And I jumped right. So, whoa, hang on. First of all, now young lady was filming it, and it was on CCTV.
Thank God.
But, so I said, did you get that? She says, I don't know. I don't know. Find out quick. So anyway, so the first thing
I get excited. I'm like you. I get excited when that stuff happens.
But right, so the first thing I do is I put my hand on the table, because basically you probably don't know this, but if people have spilt beer on the bar and you put your glass down on the bar, it could slide across the bar.
Yeah.
They do. It has happened. Right?
Oh yeah.
So perhaps it's wet.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, hand on the table. It isn't. No, it's not wet. No, it's not, guys. Another lady gets up, comes over, puts her hand on. No, she says, "You're right. No, it's not wet." So next thing, I said, "Well, hang on, come on." Right. There is a road at the back of Derby Jail. This was 11, by the way, but there is a road at the back. Lorry, but you know what a lorry's, a truck going down the road. Vibrations, perhaps the whiskey glass. So I'm on the table and I'm going with another glass that someone brought me to try.
Wow.
It didn't move. No, it didn't move. So that's number. Next one. There's a couple sat next to me, opposite me. So I said, I hope you don't mind. I'm not saying you did, but would you just nudge the table, just to see? And she's going to try and make. It never moves. Doesn't move at all. It does not move. So I said, well, guys, I said, what have we got here? What else have I got? What else can I do to disprove it? And I can't. And anyway, so when you look at the footage, the really fascinating bit is that the whiskey in my glass, you know, when you pick anything up, the liquid always moves.
Yeah.
Vibrate. The whiskey stays still all the time as it's moving across the table.
That makes you wonder how.
I have no idea.
The energy had to be vibrating at the same resonant frequency as the water because the water would stay still. It's the only possible way. And there's no way that would happen.
The only drawback was that it was on Halloween. Because people say, but the big, you see, the thing is, we weren't, there was none of you, we weren't doing an investigation.
Yeah.
I was just telling those stories. So I wasn't saying, if there's anybody there, will you give us a sign? No, I was just chatting away, and another chap was doing a story. I'm listening to him off the table. So anyway, last night I did God forbid at my age, a fan. I have every Christmas we have a fan night, a Christmas party. Last night we had it, and the same table. I'm stood talking to 3 people at the table, and this lady had got a K2 on the just, it was on the table, that's all, and I'm chatting away to her, and I'm watching the K2 move on its own like that, starts to go round, and you know, this is the reality, right? Do you know, I thought I'm still talking to her while it's doing it. Yeah. Nobody knows it, and I'm thinking it must be a vibrating type of K2. That if you know your phone's on the table, it starts to vibrate.
Yeah,
the phone will move a bit, won't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's what I thought it was.
Wow.
Because I didn't. Because it was a slightly different looking K2.
Yeah.
And I said, your K2's just gone off. She said, no, it hasn't. It hasn't. The lights haven't come on. I said, she's no, hang on, no, it's not switched on. I said, but it's just moved. I've just watched it move. Does it move? She says, no, of course it doesn't move.
Wow.
And that was last night.
That was last night?
Last night. On the same table in the same area of the room. There's a room in there called it's called the association room, and it's the room where people came to say goodbye to their loved ones before they were hanged.
Oh, see, there's got to be somebody there hanging out. Yeah.
You know, to this day, even now, if you go and visit someone in prison, it's still called the association room.
Yeah.
And that's where this goes back to 1750.
My aunt's a correctional officer, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right. My aunt and my uncle are correctional officers.
And in this country, it's still called the associate. That's where you associate, you know. That's where they went and said goodbye. Can you imagine the emotion that's still in that room? From children, mums, dads, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, wife, husband, saying goodbye to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but it's the same table. And again, both times it happened, nobody was thinking about ghosts. Nobody was thinking, will you do something? Will you? We were just chatting away. And really good that was last night. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Richard, I know you got some stuff you got to take care of, but I wanted to have you write down my email because I'm going to email you.
Please. Yeah.
It's just talkingwiththesource@gmail.com.
I can manage that.
Okay. So, I was going to message you earlier, but I didn't know if you would recognize my email because Robin normally messages me. I didn't want to message you, but I have a couple of friends, Nando DeSario out there for Portal of the Paranormal. They have a podcast, and they're actually out in the UK, and they're near that area. So I want to hook you up. Yeah, see, you need to go to Derby. I can't say that last name.
Derby Jail. Derby Jail. Talking with the source.
And Portal to the Paranormal.
Oh, sorry, no, the other bit. I haven't got the full. Talking with the source.
At gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Yeah.
.com. I shall send you the details of my YouTube channel over.
Definitely. Please do. We'll put it up on the website.
Good. Because you see, again, I'm starting to do stuff explaining to people the reality behind ghosts. Or,
I think you should, and I think that's awesome. I would love to have you come on anytime you would like to have.
Love to come again. Love to, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And come over and see me, and then get me to come over to you. I'll come over and do because I haven't been. to the States since I did a 3-week tour of New England.
Oh, okay.
11 years ago.
I know you came to our Derby.
Yes,
Derby.
I did.
Our Derby. Our Derby.
Yeah, the smallest city in the US, isn't it?
Oh my God! The town next to it, Seymour, Connecticut, where I lived, was even smaller. So trust me.
Really?
Oh yeah, we had a Strand theater that would only play movies from the past on Thursdays. It was that bad. Yeah.
Good grief. Yeah. 23 derbies in America.
Wow, I didn't know.
All named after this one.
Wow.
Yeah, then.
It's crazy. You
know? I'd like to get me up. Let's do a tour sometime. I'll come over to you.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Really?
So I'll message you definitely. Get you get all the details from there. And we'll work it out.
And I'll send you the details over.
We'll put that on the website, and everyone who wants to check out even his tea, if you want to order his tea, we have that on the website too, on our official website. We have all the Derby Jails information as well that you can go there. So check that out. But we're going to also have Richard's stuff from his YouTube all the way up to, if he has a website, we'll put it on there. So I'll message him later. We'll get that up. I'll also put it on Facebook and all the social medias. But
that's incredible. Yeah, it's at Richard Felix channel. At Richard Felix channel. The symbol at Richard Felix channel. Have a look at it. There's about 50 videos on already.
Okay. At Richard Felix channel. Can you type that in the comments, John?
Yeah. What is it?
It's the symbol at whatever YouTube, blah, 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 whatever. And then it's symbol at Richard Felix channel.
Yep. Oh, Gina put it in there for us.
Wow, good old Gina. Well done.
Hey. Gina. Yeah. Well, that is awesome. Well, thank you.
Fantastic, guys. I've learned a lot from you guys tonight. It's very interesting stuff.
No, you've been great, man. You've been great.
I've always learned from you.
Been good. Been a good one.
Well, hey, we have to.
Thank you very much.
I'm
learning all the time. I'm learning all the time.
Okay, great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rich. I appreciate your time.
It's a pleasure. Again.
Thank you so much.
Have a great Christmas, guys. Everybody, all out there. Have a Merry Christmas.
You too.
Me too. Tell your family Merry Christmas,
guys.
Much love.
See you soon.
Bye.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. There we go. Oh, man, that was awesome. I love Rich. He's such a good guy. I mean, when we first met him, talking with the source, it was just great. Is that a question or a statement, Chris? I didn't like that one. You questioned that. You guys have great conversations. Like, you've been watching us for how long? No, I'm just messing with you, Chris. I love you. Well, he messages me, man. I have to make fun of him, But yeah, Richard is absolutely awesome. I love him. He's a great guy. He's so intelligent. His history knowledge of military too, which we were talking in the back, which I wanted to talk about, is absolutely out of this world. I mean, like from Titanic type disasters, stuff like that. He's great at it. But what did you think, John? I mean,
yeah, I wish we could have dug into his research on military stuff, just me being ex-military. But I love the conversation about energy. I love the way his mind thinks. It's just like ours. So, yeah. Yeah,
I'm so mad that he didn't get a chance to do that. But he's so busy. He only got an hour of his time, which stinks. But, you know what? Next time we have him on, we'll dedicate a whole episode to it, because we got lost in our conversations like usual, man. We get so passionate.
I know. That's why we don't come in with plans, man. I love it. I love just doing this stuff on the fly. It's always a great show,
It's always, man. And that's why we do it. We appreciate everyone who is watching, everyone who has watched, and everyone who will watch. We love you. We appreciate you. And everyone, head over to any podcast listening station and follow us. We are on there at Talking with the Source. You can find our little green logo guy up at the top right there. That's what you'll see on all the podcast listening stations. And thank you guys so much again for watching another episode. My name is AJ Capasso, host of Talking with the Source, and my other host,
Jonathan Keyworth, JK47 Paranormal. And this Tuesday at noon Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Eastern, we'll be doing our 4th session for the Jameson family. Been getting great stuff. You guys can check those clips out on my TikTok or my Facebook. It's even on my YouTube as well, so check it out.
Yep. And tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, my new podcast, True Crime Podcast, starts. We're going to be reviewing an episode, a 4-part series called The Motive. We talked a little bit about it on the announcement the other day, so definitely check out, on Talking with the Source and everything there. We'll be airing it there as well. Hey, David Rex, how are you? Thank you so much for coming. But we appreciate everyone. Thank you so much. We are Talking with the Source. Have a great night.
Love and light, guys.